fly. So like, bats or like dinosaurs. Over time, you had pterodactyls. They evolved to fly.
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. What if we had the opposite?
Dinosaurs? Sorry.
Patent pending. The
Put it on a shirt. Slap floor. Buy it. Hello, and welcome to your favorite bi-weekly world-building podcast, Worlds Apart. My name is Odinn. Today I'm repping the Diana of the Royals merch, as I am a slut for the law. Go buy your merch. Diana, how are you doing today?
Aw, you're repping you're like plugging my, even I'm not wearing my own merch right now. I'm wearing the merch of my fucking alma mater, dude. I gave these guys like 32 grand or some shit, and all I got was this shirt. And instead you're out here like actually wearing my brand. That's so sweet.
Yeah, no, it's a brand. It's a slut for law. It's very. The voice crack is great as well. It is a slut for law. I'm a 30-year-old man.
Audience, I did not pay him for this ad. If it wasn't clear.
Of course, I'm going to rep the merch, dude. I got to support my homies, and it's very comfortable, high quality, great price. You should absolutely go buy some. Lav, put the link here.
Oh, Lav, I love you. Thank you. You guys are so nice.
Yeah, but how are you doing today, my dude? How are we feeling? What's on the mind world build wise?
Ooh. Oh, I'm doing good. Listen, I messaged you after the last episode ended, and I was like, Odinn, I'm going to be thinking for like 48 hours straight about the monsters and the creatures that inhabit those like forests and basalt columns in this in the Sundial Mountain range. I would love to. I'm wearing a zoology shirt.
It's a
you
sign.
You got a slut for lore shirt.
I
think that'd be a good direction to go, personally. But okay. I'm also biased due to the, again, like 32 grand that I gave these assholes for a background in animals. So, by the way, audience, if you don't know what we're wearing, you should probably watch the video version of this podcast at some point. See our smiling faces, know who you're talking to.
Yeah, we're pretty cool and wearing really cool merch. But just to give everyone a bit of a catch up from last session, just so they know what exactly you're talking about in regards to beasts and monsters, we didn't crack a can.
You good? You holding it together?
We didn't crack a can.
Oh, I thought you said the voice crack again.
No, we didn't crack the can.
Shit.
The tradition's broken.
I can crush this in my hand, but it is half full.
Can you crush it on your forehead?
It's half full.
Yeah,
and my computer is 1 foot below my knee right now.
Okay, we won't do that. next time.
I'll crack 2 next time.
We'll both crack one. How's that sound?
Yeah, the crack heard around the world or whatever.
Exactly. But as we were saying, back to reality. Last time on the last episode, we started building kind of the environment around what is now known as the Sundial Mountain region. We created the Crossroads, a large marketplace style village, city, empire, whatever you want to call it, full of shopping stalls of junk, precious items, anything and everything you can kind of find in the Sunday market and more.
They probably have the best street food, dude.
Dude, I'm hungry. Let's not get into it right now.
Okay, sorry. Shit. Immediate hard turn away from that.
Oh my god. I will start salivating, I swear to god. We also worked on the currency that is used within the Sundial Mountain range. If you would like to talk about that as you are wearing the shirt.
The shirt that doesn't say slut for lore. Yes, I'll do my best. So buy it. The currency that we just every time we say slut for lore, the fucking so the currency used around the area are essentially a series of beetles that are made of different metals, I believe, or had different insignias or things scratched into the wings, depending on, was it like the people who minted it or something like that?
I think that was one option we went with. We also just went with the option of what if our bugs are made out of these metals and shit, because
the mummy style. We were talking about mummy a lot.
It was scabbards. Good.
It was great. Yeah. Oh, and like I can imagine that the different like sizes of beetles would mean something too, like the different species. Like one is like one of those giant like Hercules beetles if you're like really wealthy, and it's like a trade commodity. Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Encumbrance is not going to be taking place in our world, ladies and gentlemen. Just so it is known.
Nah, we're hand waving it.
With encumbrance is stupid to me.
It's dumb.
It's
definitely never enforce that in my games ever.
Do you?
Okay, listen. I play really.
Who am I building a world with? Who are you?
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry you had to find out this way that gravity does in fact exist.
Nah, not in this world. Everyone floats.
But yeah, that was the currency that we came up with. We figured that there would be, especially around and in crossroads, solid places to be able to like exchange currency from one to the other as you enter or leave the Sundial Mountains. It's good stuff.
It's pretty cool. And we also created a city above ground that's not the Primordians, which I believe was a poachers guild that we decided to make it out of. That also had Primordians who didn't believe in the traditional values of
Mhm.
the Primordials.
Yeah. Quick recap, any Primordians who decide that they feel okay with the elements mingling together and see that as a way forward as opposed to being sort of isolated away in their respective elemental zones are seen as almost heretics in the culture. And so they go off and do things like become poachers of all the animals that reside in and around the Sundial Mountains, especially above ground, which is really dense,
Mm.
largely like uninhabited forest
Jungle-esque.
or yeah, and there's like weird columnal structures everywhere from where a primordial god slammed his hand down and created the Sundial Mountains forever ago.
Mhm.
So there's a quick recap.
Oh,
Oh man,
we also potentially made a deity that is encased by the primordial titans, I believe.
I forgot that's where we left
Yeah,
off.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's where we were ending things.
Oh.
I forgot about
Oh my
him.
gosh. I totally
Them.
should we yeah. Oh.
Did we?
Wild.
So okay, I feel like that could lean more in towards like the gods and deities arc when we get to that. So maybe we just place a pin
Leave
in
it as
that.
like a question mark for now.
Yeah,
Come back
just
around to whatever's thematically appropriate and whatever
yeah.
thematically would be really bad or really good if it was unleashed. That'd be cool.
Can't imagine. Who knows? But you are wearing the shirt for it, so I am more than down to start talking like beast creatures or anything that might be found in the region of the Sundial Mountain Range, if you would like to.
Heck yeah. I had a concept briefly on my way over, on my way over, by the way, from my living room to my office. And I was
A
thinking about the
journey.
concept. You know how we have like flying mammals and creatures that evolved to fly? So like, bats or like dinosaurs over time. You had pterodactyls, they evolved to fly.
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. What if we had the opposite?
Dinosaurs? Sorry.
Patent pending. The
Put it on a shirt. Stop buy it.
the concept, right? Because we've had species go from one terrain to another, right? We've had, essentially fish that start walking and
Yes.
they inhabit like muddy areas. We had whales that were once terrestrial creatures that now have vestigial, useless, like back limbs now. What if we have a creature that used to be a flying creature and then for some reason it adapted to life on the ground, which is why it's almost like a traitor to the air primordians in that sort of ancestral sense, but it
That's
still has
cool.
like vestigial wings that like don't really work maybe.
Or they became kind of like a catapult. Like it
So
uses its wings to like lunge itself forward. Like
uh-huh.
if you could like I'll use have you ever seen like a snake-esque dragon? Take a traditional Chinese dragon, make it a bit more slender, and have wings that have like hooks at the end of it, kind of like a worm.
And then it could grab onto bark and then
And
slingshot
whoosh.
itself off.
Yeah.
That's a very good idea.
But
I
how
love
does
that.
rock come into it though? If you want to, because we mentioned kind of like the giant ball we had, how it had like diamond crust or like crusts, tusks. That's the word I'm
Tusks.
looking for.
I was like, yes, Uncrustables.
I'm thinking about pizza. Anyway,
Sorry, back to
You're
food.
f-
I'm so sorry.
it's fine. I'll let it slide. But yeah, so how would this? Because that's a really cool concept. I love the idea of an air creature that was grounded essentially.
Uh-huh.
So
think
how
I-
would what do you got? Hit me with it.
The reason it's so skinny is because it moves through crevices in the ground, as well as trees.
Oh my god!
And it like fucking like if you wander into a particular part of the Sundial Mountains that's like giant cracks in the ground, full on like deserty almost, but it's still forested. It just happens to have crevasses and canyons everywhere. But even on a small scale, they range from several yards wide to just like a couple inches wide, maybe, where
Okay.
the young ones maybe dart around. But this thing will like shoot out of the crevices, across the trees, back into them, and it's skinny enough to just like worm its way in and out.
Okay. Is this thing and how big is this thing? How big are you? Like, you think a medium size to where it can, like, it's just slender as fuck? Or
Mm,
do you want this thing to be like a horde creature that attacks in multiple? Is it an individual creature that runs by itself? Is it a pack
I
creature?
think an aerial pack creature is really scary as a concept. Like
Okay.
maybe they spread out underground and like surround you if you're not extra careful. And like the concept of sorry, this is horror Diana coming out. Can you
I love
imagine one
it.
of these things worming under your skin? And then like
Ah,
I know, I'm so sorry.
ah.
But they would like surround you almost like air piranhas.
That's. I was thinking piranha. Okay, I like this. I like this a lot. Okay, so okay, so they were flying creatures. Are they super skinny? Are they like long and slender, or are they like medium sized, kind of chunky? Do they go to the gym
Mm,
every day? What's
yeah, are they
the
swole as shit? Do they
okay?
lift, bro? I would say they're pretty skinny. I don't think they have much of a need to like lift things all that much. And so they don't really have it like when it comes to evolution, right? You can either be skinny or you can be like stocky.
Hmm.
Can't really be both that easily. And you want to put energy into one skill tree versus the other, right?
Right.
It's more advantageous for them to be skinny and be able to kind of like move quickly and dexterously, as opposed to like, especially without wings, being able to like lift something with a stockier, more muscular
Hmm.
build. So I think skinny is the way to go. I feel like lengthwise though, or like widthwise, maybe they were maybe max like 2-3 inches, and that's like the big ones, like the old ones.
Oh, okay. Are you thinking like snake kind of body?
Almost like a snake, but it would have like still like grabby little claws.
Okay. Has it got? So you know how there's like undead dragons, how their wings are just bone? Is that how their arms kind of look?
That would make sense. And maybe they fold up really tight so they can fold in close to the body.
Yes, and like due to evolution, the wings that would be between the bones has just sort of receded over time.
Yeah. It's almost like the webbing in between our fingers.
Exactly.
Oh, that's so smart. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
Okay.
color are they?
Green keeps coming to mind for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Do they
why.
like scales or like slimy? Like what is their body texture? Are they feathered?
Feathers are kind of cool. Um, I don't know. I get like a kind of a green scaly esque thing, but I also have the depiction of like a dragon slash worm in my mind, so I might be a bit biased towards that right now. This is also your concept, so I'm more than open
This
to
is
like
our
leaning
concept,
towards.
comrade. We are
But
worlds living together.
this
Welcome
little
to
dude
Worlds
right
Apart,
here,
where we are inseparable.
best buddies. Um, so what I'm saying is this little concept is your guy. So what are you kind of feeling around him right now?
I agree that like scales seems to make sense. I
Mhm.
I kind of want to go with what's an aerodynamic build though, like almost leathery instead, like in the same way that a
Okay.
bat would be, but it would still be maybe reptilian descended, almost like a okay. There's this type of reptile, I think it's called a skink. Yeah, a skink, where their
Oh,
scales
okay.
are really small and really round,
Hmm.
and it's like it almost looks slimy. Um,
But it's
and it would
actually
be
just like scaly as fuck.
yeah. It's just like it's like super scaly, and I feel like that's kind of the vibe that I get.
Okay. Yeah, we can run with that. I'm more than happy with that.
Man,
I have one question.
yes,
Very important.
yes.
What's
Do
its
not
name?
ask me what it's called. Fuck. Shit. God damn it. No, I'm
Do
in
you-
my happy place, Odin. I'm looking at pictures of skinks.
Do
Do
you
not
know-
make me name something.
This is why I was like, so yeah, this is your concept. This is your idea. This was all a
Oh,
setup for you to
this
fail.
was a setup.
Yeah, this was a prank.
Okay.
You could play off Skink if you wanted to.
I almost want to. So there's a couple different. So if we go for the Latin name of, skinks.
You
and
love
like
Latin
that,
in world
I
building,
just
don't
like
you?
Latin.
It's a
I
very
have the
pretty
degree. And they belong to a family Skinsidae, but I wanted to start with a P, and I don't know why. I feel like it would be a good P name.
Okay.
There is there's a genus of skinks called Prasinohema, which is Greek for green blood. So we can get rid of hemo, and
Okay.
prey is a good like start. So Prae might be a good beginning of whatever we call this species.
Okay. It does that also make it like a carnivore by the sounds of it?
Oh, I think so. Piranha vibes,
Mm-hmm.
100%. It
Okay.
will tear you to fucking flesh, tear your flesh off your bones
There you go. You
in
got there.
seconds. I was there. I'm just thinking about tearing flesh now, and now I'm back to like turkey legs and like
Dude, are
solid
you
rotisserie
what are you
chicken.
what are you doing
Yeah,
right
that
now?
one was punishment. Don't make me fucking name shit. So
You did,
PRAE.
dude. Honestly though, your process of naming shit is so much better than mine. You logically research and like think of things that connect. I sit here like
I clicked
ja,
Google twice.
but it's how I name things. It's great. Okay, so prey is your first.
Right. Mm,
I mean, if you want to play of primordial, you could sort of play into like primords.
but that might be too close to the Primordians
Yeah,
and too
it's
close to the
kind of on the known, isn't
Primordials.
it?
Yeah, prey. Maybe the Preva, like a
Praeva's not
swarm
bad.
of Preva, or
That's
a
actually not
swarm
bad.
of oh,
Preyranas,
Preyranas,
Preyranas.
legally distinct from the
They're
other
actually descendants of piranhas, so
crazy
live in the
how they
Amazon.
went to the yeah. Um, okay, so there's a green tree skink
hmm
named Prasinohema virens. So maybe
Okay.
if we go Previra or Previra.
I kind of like
Is that too
Previra.
Latin? Previra? A swarm of Previne.
Previans?
Having a Previne familiar.
That would be kind of. It's kind of like a fairy dragon in a sense.
Yeah, where it's like, or like a pseudo dragon or a fairy dragon.
Pseudo dragon. That's what I'm looking for.
Oh,
Thank
yes.
you.
I mean, fairy dragons exist, I'm pretty sure, right? But like a pseudo dragon that's like, yeah, it's just named dragon. It's not actually a dragon, though. Like,
Yeah.
The other dragon's like, I've never met this man in my life, but it's still,
I feel like
vaguely relevant.
prey with a V
Yeah,
afterwards.
Prave.
Prey. All right, prey.
Swarm of Prave.
See, this is the worst part. I regret this bit now because now we're stuck on a name.
Now we have to do it and we have to
I
make it
put us
funny
here.
every time.
I put us here,
God
and I'm sorry. This is
damn
my
it.
mistake. Pravor.
Pravirden.
I kind of like the way you lean like towards Praviras or whatever it was. What we said before.
Pravira. Pravala. Pravire.
Previres.
Pravires.
Purveyors kind of like leans into
The
that a little
purveyors
bit.
of death.
Yeah.
The privet. Ugh.
Purveyors.
This sucks.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know. We can come back to the name. I was just
we're
doing
running
it to
into a
fuck with
wall
you.
here.
Yeah, we are.
We gotta move on. We'll be here all
Let's-
night.
We will. So let's work on these guys a little bit more. So do you want them to be a swarm, right? So not obviously like an overwhelming number of like 100 or whatever, like piranhas,
Nah.
but maybe
Crazy.
like crazy. I was crazy once. But you want to lean more towards like 4 or 5 kind of things?
Ooh, I feel like maybe like a dozen makes sense.
Damn.
I feel
Okay.
Because if they're only like a couple inches wide and then their length can vary and things like that, I feel like, especially depending on the type of game that we're playing, there's a capability for them to be somewhat dangerous alone, but also the ability to take them on as like a swarm, as like a separate stat block, the way D&D
Okay.
does sometimes.
Yes.
So, and in order for that to be a thing, oh man, I feel like at least like 10 or 12 should be reasonable, especially if they're pretty small, right? Like
Okay.
4 of those things could not take down the boar creature that we described in the last episode,
Right.
but maybe 12 of them could potentially, and
Mhm.
two dozen is you want to stay away from that area.
Right. So these things are opportunistic hunters, is what I'm hearing.
I think so. Yeah, maybe they have tremor sense in some sort of way where they, especially if they're in the ground and while they're like actively not burrowing, they don't burrow, but like while they're taking advantage of the ground cracks, maybe they have the ability to kind of like sense through that extra prong that you mentioned and sense when something's coming. And then they
Okay.
spread out, surround it, shoot up around it, and attack it.
Okay. Can these things glide still?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if they descended from your air elemental,
Mhm.
but they've like evolved to adapt to the ground, maybe they haven't lost everything from the sky. So like you said, they literally shoot up into the air and like descend to attack rather than like just jumping straight at you. They kind of like, for example, if you're walking through like a desert cracked area, you're walking through, you have your bow, you have your sword, your party is around you, and you're currently traveling through this area. You make a perception check. You roll, let's say, 12. You see, for example now, because I don't think we decided on the color of them, you see a green flash shoot up out of the corner of your eye, and you look, nothing's there anymore. And then another one, and another one, and another one. But you're not catching what these things are, and it kind of looks like a mirage of sorts. You're walking through a hot jungle, you're tired, it's hot, and then suddenly this force just down onto the back of your neck.
Oh, I like it.
That kind of vibe.
Attacking in unison for sure. Definitely like, gliding, being able to kind of tuck their wings in a precision sort of way. And then like, yeah, I like it. I like that a lot.
Kind of like how an eagle dives.
Yeah, except even more like compact. And maybe they use their ability to dive into something to like pierce skin. Because again, they're not that strong.
Yeah, well, I was about to say, you mentioned them crawling under your skin. Are they trying to like pierce the clavicle to get into your body in a sense?
Maybe it's just like straight up a sort of like trait that adapted out of the fact that they live in swarms. And so the first creature historically that got into the body of a prey animal the deepest then got to eat their way out the furthest. So they got more food. So nature and natural evolution kind of rewarded that trait. And so now they dive bomb for the sake of getting into the heart of the food first. Okay.
That would also be really good for like a runaway kind of encounter.
Yeah.
So like you're just like walking through. Yeah. Because, you know, kind of like to use Aussie terms, in spring, we have magpies that swoop when you walk through a specific area.
Oh, yeah, right. You guys have to like fucking watch your heads. During... God, imagine being in Australia and having to deal with birds just out of fucking nowhere.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. The pack states for Australia just got announced. They posted them on their socials. Yeah, the pack states, just so you know. October. I'll see you then, bro.
They got announced?
Yeah, they just posted them like 20 minutes ago.
You're kidding. I'm
not kidding.
Missed that. Huh. Yeah. All right, well, I'll see you there.
Yeah, October, bro. Late October, I believe they are.
Oh my gosh.
But yes, the focus, Diana, come back.
Sorry, I'm looking at the sorry. It's just you're gonna immediately see me unfocusing just a flood of yellow on my screen as I look at the PAX Australia site. We're not sponsored by PAX, by the way. Yet. Technically, one of us is.
Who? Not Australia.
Not Australia. Yeah, I'm talking to their team.
Oh,
I'm so sorry, Lab. You're probably gonna have to cut like half of that.
That's fine. Leave it in. We don't give a fuck. But it kind of like how they sort of swoop throughout a certain territory. So, but once you hit that border, they cut off. So these things could know they know they can't beat everything. But if something comes into their territory where there is a lot of them, it's like home field advantage.
Extra cracked ground and like places where there are not shrubs necessarily, but more plant life that's at least taller than like a foot or two off the ground where they can.
A lot of branches and vines and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, exactly. And so like, you know, on site, or like local guides know on site, or poachers know on site what areas to stay away from. At that point, what would they be afraid of?
Well, if these things are essentially worms, we need a bird of some kind, like some kind of rock bird. Not a rock, but like, but I feel like
legally distinct rock bird.
Exactly. Or like something that can pass through trees really quickly. I feel if we're going off creating creatures that are adapt to earth and like rock and all that, I feel like all of these creatures move quick. Like this, they've adapted to this land really, really well. And like, for example, the giant boar, that thing moves quick, but that thing moves quick by brute force.
Yeah.
So it breaks through rock. Yeah. While these smaller creatures, like we mentioned, dive through cracks, wrap around vines, go up and through bark, all that kind of stuff. So maybe we have something that jumps through vines, or is just like a tree hugger in a sense, like leaps and bounds between trees or between columns as well. Kind of like a mountain goat, but something.
That's a good start, like a tree goat. How big would it be?
I want him to be big and fluffy.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
He's he's like a natural predator of these things, but he's just the derpiest looking thing you've ever seen. But we could have something along the lines of a tree goat.
So in that case, maybe it's something that has, especially if it's, maybe it has really stupidly good vision too. So it can like sense movement, and especially fast movement, better than anything. And so it's really good at being able to just like twist its neck around and like slam one of the creatures, the flying snake things, out of the air.
Okay, so we know there's owl bears.
True.
What if we have an owl goat?
Oh!
You mentioned like being able to whip your head around really quick. Owls can do that 180. 360.
Yeah! That's a very good point.
360, 180.
Well, technically they can't do. They look like they can do 360, but it's them just snapping their head around so fast that it looks like they can turn. But that's a good idea. Or like a really like, oh god, what if it's got a creepily long neck? No, I can't do horror shit anymore. This is too much.
Why not? But dude, we both love horror. Bring it on. What are you talking about?
So it like looks behind itself, but it can also extend its neck out, perhaps. And that helps out with it trying to like whip its head around and knock things out of the air, catch them before they've really had a chance to stabilize themselves in order to go in for an attack.
That would be kind of terrifying to encounter. That would be really cool.
But it's hooved.
Do we want it to be hooved?
If it darts through trees, maybe...
Lean more like monkey chimp-esque?
Or its hooves are shaped in a way that also happen to grip onto bark and stone really well. Like maybe it has hooves made out of the same substance as the boar's tusks, or the same sort of like really tough material.
Okay.
That enables it to climb mountains, go almost vertically up basalt columns, but also at the same time go almost vertically up trees.
Kind of like what the relics had that you made, with the how they can sort of pierce into rock and stone really easily.
Yes, but less like in the sense of like reaching around a gem or a bit of mineral and like grabbing it out, and more just like being shaped almost like a pick, but like a very short pick.
Oh, okay.
Like U-shaped almost, so still hoof-shaped, but it just like happens to cling on.
Like a bob?
Yeah, actually, yes.
Yeah.
But like just a little U-shaped barb that goes in and doesn't close in the same way.
I kind of got like, have you seen Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, all those things? Haven't seen them? No? That's fine.
I have not.
There's a scene with the raptors where you see their giant ass fucking toenail. That like hooks her, that kind of vibe. So they've got the hoof and then this one extension that like allows them to tunk into things.
Mm-hmm. So and then someone who is coming at the Sundial Mountains from outside, you know, they're used to like normal horse hoofs, and they're like, what is this giant claw thing that pierces 3 inches into the ground every time this thing steps?
How big do we want to make this thing? Goat size?
I think goat size makes sense. Maybe bigger. And maybe you talked about it being floofy earlier. Maybe it being floofy is part of the reason that the snakes can't attack it, is because like straight up the fluff stops their momentum.
Yeah. So it's got fluffy blubber in a sense?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, I want to cuddle this thing.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it's used for. Like maybe it's like harvested for its wool of some and like maybe
do you want to make it feathered?
Really ooh. And then what are the feathers used for? They got to be used for something, surely.
Well, if he's like big and feathered, but he's like fat, maybe it's like they're using his blubber. Like it's more so the blubber or the meat that they want.
Ah, yeah.
Because these are poachers. They want weird, specific shit. So Feathers, I mean, like, you can pluck a feather if you want to, sure. That can be more of a trophy, saying you took one down. But,
Yeah.
okay, so we want this thing to have, like, a... How big are you talking when you say big? Like, for reference, are you talking, like, grizzly bear big?
I'm thinking like, yeah, grizzly bear, maybe hippopotamus size. Like,
Oh my god.
sorry, is that too big?
No,
Like
that's...
fucking rhino size.
I think we... Fuck, how quick is this thing?
I think it's probably not as quick laterally, but it has good reflexes.
Okay. So, flat ground, this thing can fucking move. But climbing speed, it's halved, do we want to say? Just to, like, break it down into technical terms?
I think that makes sense.
Okay.
Let me see.
It would have to be a solid tree for it to climb. Because
That's the thing.
if this thing's heavy... Because...
I mean, solid giant trees would not be out of the question for an Earth.
No, not at all.
Area.
Trees that, like, ancient trees that have been there for fucking yonks? Absolutely.
Maybe
New
this thing has
trees.
a crazy long lifespan.
New trees. It's coming down with it.
Yeah.
But hippos are really good platform to use because they're quick both on land and in water, no matter what Nana says. I'm terrified of hippos. They're fucking quick.
You should be. They're fucking speedy, dude.
So we can absolutely use... God, how big is this fucking barb? Because to hold that weight...
Yeah. Maybe it's like really big in that its feathers stand up really large, but it's not actually that
So
heavy.
it looks fluffy.
Yeah, or it's like the same thing as a bird where it has like hollow bones or something that makes it really light, and so that way the hook doesn't need to be as long.
Okay.
Because you're right, having it climb trees when it's like, ah, fuck it. An arboreal hippo is a bit much.
Well, it could be along the same lines of like what we said with the boar. This thing might not... It could climb, just not very quickly, but it could use those barbs to, like, dig in and pull down trees and shit.
That's a good idea.
So, like, if those snake things are up in the air, like, running, this thing is like, nah, you're coming to my level, and rips down the tree with the barbs that it has.
That's genius.
Yeah.
And maybe it also then, like, would it use those trees for anything? Can it then, like, like...
I mean,
awesome?
If something was attacking it and you throw a tree on top of it, that's pretty effective.
Oh, imagine that being part of your battle strategy is just... Instead of fighting something full on, you just tear down the house around it.
I mean, that would be a really fun encounter.
I would love that. Changing the battlefield, too, as you go. Oh, man.
Do you know how explaining that to a party mid-battle, they would be so confused? Like, they have this thing surrounded and they just see it turn and walk towards a tree.
Yeah,
They'd be like, what? Where is it going? I'll take my attack of opportunity. That's a tree. Like...
It's like you're not fighting the hippo anymore. Mm-hmm. You're fighting gravity, which definitely exists in this world.
They float. But that's another option we could run with, because we can always build something that flies through trees easier. Mm-hmm. So do we want to run with the big hippo-esque owl goat?
Yeah. I mean, if we go off the goat vibe, does it have horns? Or does it have, like, owl ears and then horn? Like, I guess owls don't have...
What I'm picturing right now, just so you can sort of understand where my mind is right now. So I'm picturing a hippo's body with the hippo legs, little short stumpy legs that move very quick, with a raptor claw on each of the feet. A long extended neck, like you mentioned, with an owl head on top. And then you said horns, so I imagine, like, ram horns on it.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at right now.
The horns... Because ram horns are mostly used for, like, butting heads with other creatures of the same species in order to mate. Or is that the same sort of, like use you were thinking of for those things? Because if they're circular, they don't do a whole lot with regards to, like, stabbing potential. You
wanted to pierce? You reckon that would be... I mean, they got to hold something down somehow, don't they?
True.
We are also... The original idea was to make these things to catch the quick little snake dudes.
True.
So, or is this just a
So,
brand new entity that we're coming up with right now?
oh no, I can't handle another entity that we have to name.
We won't name him. We got stuck last time. We won't do that
Yeah.
right now.
Oh, we'll get better at it, I swear, audience. We won't.
Mm-mm.
I think I think having maybe like, oh my god, do you know how gazelles have horns? Or that like are basically just like shish kebabs?
Yes.
What if it uses its really long neck and it's
I'm
equipped with
loving
like
your horn
this
right now, dude.
sorry. Yes, I'm just like, audience for those listening to the audio version of the podcast, I'm like full on making little finger horns on my head right now.
Mhm.
By the way, watch the video version of the podcast. We work hard on it, and by we I mean Lav. If it maybe like skewers a bunch of
Okay.
these things midair,
Yeah, we can run with
that
that.
kind of hits like goat-ish vibe. I mean, it has goat hooves, hippo body, extremely long giraffe style, like muscular, quick moving neck, owl head. Does it have a beak?
I mean, that would make sense for it.
That makes
With
sense.
because if we're thinking about it, if it rips down a tree, the little snake, dragon, worm cavern crawlers, whatever you want to call them,
Mhm.
they'd probably, because we mentioned they glide, they probably jump out of the tree as it's falling and glide down, which would give this creature the opportunity to start spearing things.
Yes, from above,
Hmm.
specifically, so it can like kind of like just jet up, snap him out of the air, reach down later, or like rub the horn against a different tree later on
Yeah.
to get the meat off, and then munch
Yeah,
like noodles.
he's a little muncher. He
You're a
munches.
little munch guy. I like this. I like
I
this
do too.
creature. It sounds dangerous as shit.
He is horrifying.
I would be terrified. I feel like it'd be a good target for poachers, like a really fucking.
Oh,
tall one.
100%. And
Oh.
like, I feel like these things are tough to take down.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they're using environment all around them as well,
Home field advantage.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is there a dire version of this thing?
There has to be. Oh, oh gosh, are we getting into like dire creatures, like
Yeah.
full on like shinies, like?
Yeah.
Oh man.
You say
okay.
shinies.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
That's such a great reference. I'm so proud of you, dude.
Yay! Yay! That's the validation I crave. This is what I'm here for. Odinn's like, "Do you want to join a podcast?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "I'll compliment you once every 5 episodes and no more." And I was like, "All right, wait, great, fantastic.
Bring it
when we
on.
record." So in that case, would it have just like longer horns, or like how would it? What would distinguish the dire version? Would the feathers be different? Would they be like metallic, made of something different? Less stumpy legs, more stumpy legs, just bigger,
I feel like this thing just might be a bit bigger.
just like chunkier.
Kind of more rabid in a sense.
Oh,
Like
okay.
imagine a frenzied version of it, to put simply. Like this thing's just more aggressive. It's bigger somehow, whether it was genetic or someone did something to it. Take the enlarge spell. It got bigger. And now it's scarier.
Oh man, but that makes it more prized in a sense because it has more of that floof, that blubber.
Yeah.
I like this.
We could also make this creature like a pride creature, so it has like it leads a colony of these things if we wanted to, kind of like lions.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because walking up to a pride of these things, that's a big target to take down.
Oh, 100%.
So
Oh man. We could even do this thing where, okay, and this is kind of a deep cut. Bees have this thing known as royal jelly. It full on sounds like here's another Pokemon reference. It full on sounds like giving a Pokemon a certain types of stone to make it evolve into a certain creature. Bees will do this thing where they have royal jelly and they feed it to a bee that they want to turn into a queen whenever they need a new queen.
okay,
And it unlocks certain genetic like protocols and like legitimately unlocks certain genetic protein building roadmaps that then turn this little critter into a queen. So you can on demand as needed create a new dire version of a creature essentially. And sometimes especially colony creatures and pack creatures will make that decision among themselves and then choose a new. So maybe there's a process for creating the dire version of these things
Okay.
by
So
feeding
these
it
things
something,
these
or
things choose a leader in a sense, and like,
yeah, old one is gone, new one has to step up.
is there something in the blubber? Maybe that's why it's so sought after.
Yeah,
It has
if he's
capabilities
this,
to enhance abilities, basically.
that's genius. That's so smart. Yeah, and maybe when an old one dies, like the colony does its best to recover the body so that whoever their new leader is eats the body of the old one.
Yeah.
Full on, they cannibalize themselves because
Yeah.
that's what's necessary. Oh, that's good. And then that means that dire versions of other creatures showing up are
Because they got
a bad thing and kind of
yeah.
unnatural, but at the same time, a sign that one of these creatures' packs have had a recent death.
Yeah.
I love this. That
That's
unlocks
really
so many
cool.
Possibilities. Holy shit.
What happens if a person eats it?
Maybe it's a component of enlarged potions? Or
It could be a drug.
that'd be a sick drug. Did we just make how does it happen that every single time we sit down in the fucking Sundown Mountains, we create some sort of criminal underbelly, some like poachers guild, some horrific under like council in a wizarding college? We've done so much like evil shit just unnecessary, unintentionally.
I had an idea.
Oh yeah.
So with this blubber, it enhances abilities, right?
Mhm.
So in worlds I've created before, in games that I run, D&D, whatever, if there's like a magic school or there's magic in this world and all this kind of stuff, I love mana potions. So they give you back spell slots. What if this blubber is a component to make rare mana potions?
Hmm.
So like, as a blubber itself, it's absolutely a drug. Like it's, I don't know, we can say it makes people feral. It like it's kind of like steroids. Like it just fucking makes you
Yeah.
jacked, whatever you want. But when it's used correctly, when it's stripped down and it's put through all the processes, it makes like superior mana potions. So it brings
I
back
like it.
higher level spell slots.
Do you think it has side effects still at that level? Or if used too much?
If used too much, absolutely. And that could be left up to a dice roll.
Oh,
It
I
could be
like that.
like a wild magic kind of effect.
Yeah.
Or it could just like turn you rabid for a hot minute.
Oh,
Uh
man.
there's a lot of possibilities with it.
Yeah. And that could lead straight back into the Wizarding College that we created earlier, where it's like this whole underground thing. And it's a not irregular occurrence for students to, especially when it comes to excelling at school. It's like ye old Adderall for wizards. It's full on like if someone suddenly does really well at their combat magic and doesn't seem to get tired,
Hmm.
and it's a little suspicious.
Well, we do also have a herbalism pillar there.
That's true. Oh, I like this. So maybe
Yeah.
like those students in particular are like the dealers
It
more
could be the
commonly than
dealers,
not.
or maybe you know how we mentioned a pillar handing down their status.
Uh-huh.
Maybe this could be a trial to see if they're worthy. Getting
Oh,
getting mana blubber from like a dire creature of whatever the fuck this is.
hmm.
There are a lot of possibilities for it. It could absolutely be the herbalism students dealing blubber as, is it called blubber, the drug?
Oh, we can't just call it blubber, can we? We gotta find some. Well, we're not good at
B-lub?
naming things. B-lub.
B-lub.
B-lub is. I would 100% buy B-lub off the street from some random sketchy looking student.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
So we could do. Oh my god. There's so much there.
There is.
Like, is it something that's almost entirely exclusive to these mountains because of the fact that I imagine these creatures don't live anywhere else, right?
I feel like if it's accessible everywhere, it takes away the rarity of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if this is exclusive to this mountain range, if it's
Expensive
reaching
as
other
fuck, then.
continents, that's
Yeah.
dark black market kind of movement, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. So On the opposite side of that, then, maybe there are people who are complete proponents of the concept of nature being left alone and people not harvesting. Because the more that we harvest these creatures and these dire hippos,
Mhm.
the less there's going to be for the existing other hippos to cannibalize on and then feed into
Continue
itself. So
living.
it's yeah, it's like a metaphor for the age-old environmentalism problem where it's like, obviously, you can't just keep harvesting and expect nothing to to
Yeah.
go wrong 10 years down the road. So maybe there's people who are like active conservationists who at the same time believe that magic should be kind of left raw. And if you run out of spell slots, then oh well, in sort of like this natural selection sort of way.
Okay.
And so maybe that's like the other side of the coin where it's like, yeah, you could use this substance, but it's illegal in or it's like really hard to get in other countries. It's got negative side effects psychologically. It is negative environmentally if it's not harvested right. And also just use your fucking spell slots. So
Yeah.
maybe that's like a whole social group and a potential
100%.
quest giving group.
Absolutely.
Maybe the players have to choose a side.
I was just thinking that whether they want to make quick money and go hunt these creatures and get a quick buck, or if they're more maybe engrounded into this land and know these creatures and want to protect them.
And it depends on how much like research they decide to do. Like maybe the poachers just come up and they're like, "Oh yeah, this creature, it's real bad. You should go see how angry it is all the time. It's fucking crazy." And then like, the more that they go into local libraries, the more they sit back and observe these creatures without actually just straight up attacking them on sight, the more that they might understand the other side of it. So it's like exactly what you said, quick buck versus like long-term foresight.
Yeah.
It's a very good stabilizing sort of quest too, where a DM
Yeah.
can throw this quest at your party and then get a good sense of their morals and how like knee-jerk reaction-y they are, which is good
Yeah.
info to have early on in a campaign.
You're not wrong. And like this could be a challenging creature to face at a lower level as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The idea you had that this thing, if they feast on the old alpha, turn into this new dire, I love that.
Mhm.
What is the process like? Is it kind of like, have you seen Black Panther?
Forever ago, but I have
Okay.
actually seen it.
Yes. So, I forget the exact thing. I haven't seen it in a very long time. They either eat or drink a specific thing, and then
Oh,
they
from the flower.
yes, and then they instantly get the abilities of the Black Panther. When they eat the blubber, is it instantaneous for them? Is it an overnight transformation kind of thing? Because a really cool concept would be a party coming up on a pride, and if when they go to attack it, they learn that the new dire is currently transforming, and maybe it can't attack right now, and it's
Oh.
like, what's the process for the creature that's becoming this new creature?
Maybe it has to eat. Because there'd be a lot of blubber there, a lot of
Yes.
flesh. It probably doesn't need to be a thing where it sits and eats the entire corpse by itself. That might take the course of several hours, and the party might not realize what's happening. Maybe it's just like a couple bites, couple minutes, maybe even just like one full minute, and maybe it starts to look as though it's like bones are cracking, its spine starts to bulge out a little bit. It's like going through a series of growth periods like humans do at once.
Werewolf-esque kind of transformation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it just like gets bigger. And no matter what, even though it looks like it should be an incredible pain, it just like bows its neck and keeps chewing. And so maybe it doesn't have to eat a certain amount, but instead it just has to keep eating
Until it's finished. Like
until
the
it's
process is
transforming.
finished.
Yeah. And at
That's
the same
fucking
time,
cool.
the party would witness that none of the other creatures, none of the other hippos are stepping up to take any bites. Like
Mhm.
it's one very specific one. The next, the next heir in line to the throne, the next
Yeah.
biggest, who steps up and like just immediately knows like, okay, this is my place now. Like this is what I gotta do. And the rest defend it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I was about to say if this thing doesn't have to eat the entirety of this past dire, maybe until the corpse has rotted and gone, they have to defend it in a sense. And creatures that get through the lines and eat some of the blubber, like opportunist creatures and like scavengers and all that kind of stuff, that's where you get your random dire beasts from. Because they broke through the lines and they got like a single bite of it and ran off. But it just changed them.
Yeah. Oh, I love this. And now this means that for every creature that we create in the Sundown Mountains, there has to be a dire version
There is a
of
possibility of one at least.
oh man, that's so cool. And
Mhm.
especially because like it's so rare to see mechanics like that in games where it's like humans and the party always have some sort of like tower defense style fucking
Mhm.
quest. There's always like a keep them off me for 1 minute till I finish this spell sort of thing. Or
Yeah.
like, hold the portal closed or like and it's interesting to see the other side of it where it's like animals doing it and
Yeah,
your target is to break those defenses. I love that. We need more of that.
we do. I think God, that would be a really cool encounter because what would the party think? Like, because if the other hippo creatures, as we will call them for now,
We'll come up with something eventually,
we'll get
audience.
there.
Get off our backs.
Because if these things are all watching this alpha become the new alpha, and they're not attacking, and they see the party rock up and they just start defending, so they're not like charging, they're just holding the line, if you will, like you said, for 1 minute. Uh, that would be a weird encounter
Yeah.
because the party would be ready to be like, okay, let's go, and they're just holding their ground. These
They
giant
rush up,
creatures.
they attack, they back up to like a certain area. Can you imagine too if you did a precursor to this where it was on the other side of it where the party had to defend something and it was something small, some intro quest, and it could be like 3, 4, 5 campaign sessions in before you see it happen with these creatures and you wait to see if anyone recognizes the foreshadowing.
I love that. That would be a
Oh,
perfect. That's one of my favorite things to do as a DM. Like you foreshadow things they're going to face in the future.
yeah.
You semi prepare them for it without them knowing. It's great.
You just say little things like little sentences here and there.
Yeah,
Oh my god, it's my favorite thing to do. Um,
that's such a cool encounter. That's a really smart idea, Diana. Holy shit. I
I
love
know
that.
things sometimes.
God.
Uh,
I love this creature.
this is so good.
Yeah.
And like we've created a natural enemy of sorts already.
Mhm.
What would the dire version of those snake things that we created earlier be? We can finish up with that, like any
Sure.
concept. Because the original one's green, right? Maybe it changes to like a slight blue color. It kind of gives mana vibes.
That's not a bad
Glows a
idea.
little,
Well,
something like that.
so how big are the little ones again? They're like 3 to 6 inches, you said, depending?
Like 2, 3 inches wide, but maybe like 3 to 6 is like one of the starting lengths for
Oh, okay.
like at least the length of your forearm, for
Okay.
example, as far as like
Well, this if they're a small creature, for example,
Mhm.
the dire version of them could move up to a medium creature,
yeah.
and like this thing doesn't go below ground
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
because
And
if
so the others just kind of follow it.
kind of yeah. So like we mentioned, these things have like a snake body with like little legs at the back and like these old like tattered wings at the front that they used to like claw through and pull themselves through. What if this thing is like a miniature worm where it's like walking around on its two front paws? Its body is elongated and larger. Has like a blue, like a deep blue coloring to it, like you mentioned, after eating the blubber and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like a miniature worm, but it could have like a raw ability now.
Ooh,
Due
that'd
to
be
the mana.
good.
Yeah, like a screech if we wanted to.
Yeah.
But what about you?
That's so cool. Can you imagine if it does like that sort of screech and it's like oh man, especially if it's lost its ability to go underground and kind of like haul itself as, because it's so much bigger, obviously it can't go where it used to. Maybe its screech ability is something that's like paralyzing and freezes
Stuns?
you in place. It stuns. That's the word. And then after that, it starts to approach you and still tries to do its old behavior of just plunging its face into your chest and getting through your
Oh,
central body.
well, yeah, that thing could just go straight for your heart if it wanted to.
And you would just have to watch.
You would watch this thing walk up to it.
Yeah.
My God, that would also give all its followers an opportunity to dive and not miss.
Yes. So they follow it not because they like worship it or anything or because they give a shit, but instead it's just like, oh, this makes prey so much more vulnerable
Mhm.
if we follow this thing. Oh, that's so good. Those
Yeah.
are such good behaviors too.
Yeah.
I didn't think we'd get into behaviors.
No, because that would give technical term. That would give advantage on an attack roll if something is stunned. And if these things are diving at advantage, that's a solid chance you're getting something into your skin. How do you get these things out, though? Because if they burrow, how do you get them out? We'll finish with that.
Maybe it's like the way that people remove, and this is going to be a bit of a gore warning if you haven't already, you don't already know who we are. We really like horror shit. One thing that happens in real life is when you have a tapeworm, one of the old ways of removing a tapeworm is to take the end of its body and just like wind it up around a stick like you're winding string around a spool. And you just have to slowly rotate and have it like, you just slowly pull it out, and you can't go too fast, otherwise it breaks. Which I don't think would happen with ththese creatures because they're big enough, but like maybe it's like you just have to hand over hand yank it out of someone's body.
So because we could use it along the same lines of petrification. You know how petrification takes like 2 turns to fully set in, and then you're petrified, turn to stone. We could say if it's like 2 saves. First is when they like pierce the skin, and that you have like 1 opportunity to rip them out. But on the second turn, if you fail again and they dive and they're in, it will take you 2 turns to pull them out. Like it's a tug of war in a sense.
I like that. I love tug of war mechanics. We need more of those. That's a very good idea.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to the big one, it's just like...
that thing's just going through your chest. There's nothing stopping it.
Just fucking... It is... You have to parry its attack. It's not going to...
You got to resist the screech. You just got to... Good luck.
Yep. That's so cool.
Okay. So, to end with a creature screaming to paralyze you and then bore through your chest, Diana, where can everyone find you?
Hi, I am Diana Faye. I'm also known as Diana the Rose on all platforms. I am oh my god, the list is huge. Content creator in both long form and short form. So that means I'm a YouTuber, I am a Twitch streamer. In fact, I'm a partner and including, a member of the Latin Guild and Pride Guild. I am a podcaster. Nowadays, podcast hosts can add that back now. I'm a model, I'm a social media consultant, I'm a panelist, I'm an actual play and live play performer, and I'm sick of how long this intro has gotten. But again, I am at Diana the Rose on every platform ever. How about you, Odie?
I am Odinn.
Anyway, you can find Worlds Apart.
No, my name is Odinn, Odinn_Sun on everything, on every single social media, except Twitch, where you can find me at officially Odie. I am a Pokemon streamer, I am a Pokemon pack opener, I am an aspiring voice actor, and I am also an experienced dungeon master. But if you're not looking for either of us, and you're looking for more of us together, you can find us at Worlds Apart TTRPG on YouTube, Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok, and Spotify, I believe is where we're going with this.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
We'll find out.
We'll figure it out as
we
we
go.
This. That'd be,
as far as the rest of Worlds Apart team goes, there are a couple of people behind the scenes doing some amazing things for us, including the lovely Lav, who is known as entity__edits on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Blue Sky. So she is in charge of all our visuals, our audio editing. Basically every bit, as soon as we turn off the camera, goes straight to her, and she's been amazing. And then our logo was designed by the amazing Toby.exe at Toby.exe on TikTok, Blue Sky, and YouTube. And then Toby.exe surrounded by underscores for Instagram, where is probably the best place to go see most of his work. I've commissioned him so many times. So much of my paycheck goes to Toby. He's amazing. He's one of my favorite artists.
Yes. And both Entity Edits and Toby.exe at certain times are available for commissions. So if you go to their pages, you can check out their prices and see what work they can do for you if they are available at that time. If you steal them from us, we will come for you.
Yeah. We'll bring the snakes.
And the big hippo. And the big one. But thank you guys for listening in. We hope you enjoyed this episode this week, and we will see you in a couple weeks from now. Bye-bye.
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Neither of us have watches.
No.
Bye.
Bye-bye.